that like a big thing? People always want to touch ethnic hair? That's a thing?
Definitely.
Weird. Yeah, cool.
So where you want to touch?
You want to touch my hair? I'm losing some, but I'll touch some hair.
Educate me, and then when you say you can touch my hair, people know what it is they're actually touching. But if you're just doing it and you don't know the concept behind it, you don't know the origin, you don't know how it happens or how hard it is to take it, then you've not been educated. You just had your whatever satisfied.
With the fascination and reach and touch my hair, and something else goes down. So like I said, we're trying to save some lives out here. You might not want to just go up to any random black woman and touch their hair just because other people want you to touch theirs.
I have happy hair, and I call it happy hair because it is it's unmolested. I don't try to make it. I don't fight it. I have a relationship with my hair. Not always. I've grown to this, and I've learned, particularly with Black American women, most of us are taught or start off with the understanding that something is wrong with our hair, whether it's our grandmothers wrestling us to the ground to tame it into ponytails. There's pain and crying and suffering, and most people who do our hair, their first lesson is to change it. So it's kind of like Adam and Eve, it's like Eve, you start off wrong. So for a lot of Black American women, our hair historically has started off as wrong. And anyone who touches it, their first job is to change it, change the texture, change its nature. And so when you start that way, the journey to finding happiness, it can be long.
Well, see, this is the challenge. Black people, so many Black people don't even know their own hair grade. I've had friends in their 30s look at me and be like, oh my gosh, guess what? I cut my hair and guess what it does? Because they were so young, myself included, when their hairs were permed, they didn't know what their hair looked like. So when they actually got exposed to it, we actually had to learn our hair in our 20s and 30s. We had to figure out how to tend to our hair.
I was so used to the kind of, media and what Black women's hair should look like. It should be straight, you know what I mean? It's just, so I wasn't used to that. It took a lot of soul searching to get used to the texture that I had and be okay with it.
Because the society doesn't cater to kinky hair. It doesn't cater to me being able to walk around with my own hair grade. It tells me that it's not beautiful. It tells me that I'm not as beautiful as a woman of another race. It tells me to wear weave. It tells me to wear braids. And it tells me when I do those things, I immediately become more socially acceptable.
Now that people are starting to embrace it, everyone's so curious and they're so fascinated, and they're like, wow, I'm wearing hair naturally. That's so different.
I was actually at a Hale and Hardy, which is similar to like a deli.
There was a moment most recently when I had locks, and I was in line at a coffee shop.
And I was waiting for my boss to finish paying, and a man who was staring at me the entire time in line, and I just thought he was just a relatively nice person.
And I heard two women discussing if they could touch my hair. They didn't ask me directly, but I overheard them. They were standing directly behind me.
And he made a beeline for me as I was just waiting by the door, and I guess he felt like we had some type of connection because I went to go say hi to him, and his hand just immediately just went straight for my scalp.
And they were, saying, ooh, what do you think if we touched her hair? Do you think she would mind if we touched her hair? What if I just put my hands in her hair?
That was definitely eye-opening.
And, you know, I was appalled. And so I slightly turned around to indicate that I could hear their conversation and also to let them know, no, do not touch my hair.
I was definitely taken aback.
It felt invasive. It felt as if I was this, you know, curiosity.
I've never had somebody well, at that time in my life, I'd never had somebody just come up to me and just throw their hand in my head, and not to mention like get all the way to my root. It kind of made me feel a little bit vulnerable.
It made me feel, you know, like, you know, something about me was so totally odd and strange, you know, that it was, you know, okay for them, one, to just come up and touch it, or okay, you know, or two, just to have this conversation behind my back about it.
At the same time, it made me laugh. It's ballsy, so hats off to him.
Curious, lack of information, entitlement, no home training.
I think he was curious, and again, I feel that he thought he was comfortable enough to actually, you know, ask me and really go for the gusto. So I just really think it comes down to curiosity.
I'm not interested in having a conversation where I make people feel better about my hair, or if I don't my hair texture feels like have an intimate relationship with a black person. Do you have a black friend? Have an intimate relationship with a black person. You ask them. Yeah, that we can either control or we can help.
Well, we can't control by saying no. You cannot. Like we finally have the voice. We're not Sarah, who did not have that.
One of the biggest criticisms of the You Can Touch My Hair exhibit was it reminded people of a woman named Sarah Sarkey Bartman. Sarah Bartman was a South African woman who in the early 1800s was encouraged to go to Europe only to literally be put on display. The Europeans of that time hadn't seen anyone that looked like her because she was physically different. So she was a curiosity, something strange. Fast forward to today, and yet again we have people curious about a physical difference. Yes, curiosity is the first step to enlightenment, but we have to question the nature of our curiosity. Is it innocent curiosity? And even if it is, was it that same type of curiosity that led to Sarah being put on display? We called You Can Touch My Hair an exhibit for a reason. We could easily have called it a discussion or just an event. We could have held up signs that said, "Ask me about my hair," but we called it You Can Touch My Hair for a reason. It wasn't supposed to make anyone comfortable. But we wanted to draw the parallel between a very literal display and the not so literal displays that happen in everyday life. There's nothing wrong with being curious, but we do have to be aware of how we let our curiosities play out and how we're treating people as a result of them.